Hello and welcome back, everyone. Sorry for that interruption right there. We had a little bit of a network glitch, so we had to basically change the router. Hopefully, this one doesn't go offline as well. So yeah. So I was asking that we drop some of our questions, so I can take a look at them before we proceed and go into the business of today. So if you have any question, okay, drop them in the comment section so that we can actually pick it out and give you some good answers. So if you have any question, drop them. Welcome Bumi, welcome Shinayomi John. So yeah, so if you have any question, please drop them in the comment section. Welcome Yusra Adeleke, welcome. So like I said, if you have any question, just drop them in the comment section so we can answer them. Okay, one from Yusra. Good evening, sir. In the presentation video, while doing the dribble shot frame, both the width and height were multiplied by 3. Does it apply to other social media frames? Basically, that's what most people do, right? You just want to have that higher resolution. But there are times that it could help, and there are times it could make your image worse. For instance, if it is some social media tends to overcompress images. So when you are doing it x3, most of the time when you're uploading it back, those social media will recompress it. But it's just better to increase it at least x2 or x3 so that you can actually have a clearer resolution when you upload your images. Okay, just like by default, when you upload 1080 by 1080, sorry, by default, when you upload like an image that is larger than 1080 by 1080 px on Instagram, Instagram is going to compress that image, okay, to 1080 by 1080, and sometimes you are going to lose some of the qualities of that image. But if you go to your Instagram settings and you activate, uploading high quality media, it's going to make sure it tries its best to upload the best quality of that particular post. Okay, so someone is asking, what is the difference between prototype and prototyping? The difference between prototype and prototyping is noun and verb. Okay, prototype is a noun, prototyping is a verb. So that's the main that's basically the difference. It's one is a noun, the other one is a verb. Okay, you can't see the screen. You can't see the screen. Samuel King. Let me see why you guys can't see. Who else is not seeing the screen? Let me know. I think for now on the screen, what we just have is question and answer, Q&A. So I don't know. So who else can't see the screen? If you can't see the screen, just let me know so I'll know what's going on. Okay. Okay. Sir, can you explain explain qualities in a sports session? I really don't understand that question. But when you are exporting, you see those 1x at 1x at 2x at 3x. What we used it for is not really the purpose of it. Okay, when we get to advanced UI design and also handoff, when we get to handoff, how to hand off your design, you are going to understand it, because different screen sizes have different resolutions. So for instance, when you make your design on a smaller phone and maybe you are using font size 12, if that same design is to be opened on a bigger phone or a bigger device, what happens is that that device is going to scale that text or that image. So in most cases, when you are designing, you have to render, especially with images, okay, you have to render those images in different x. So let's assume the smallest phone is the normal 1x, okay. Let's say the base iPhone 14 is the normal 1x. When you are exporting to like iPhone 14 Pro, you are likely going to export that image at 1.5x. Then you keep going 2x, 2.5x, 3x, depending on the image, okay. So that's basically what you have there. So we'll take a look at this in depth when we get to exporting your work, like developer handoff. You are going to really understand how those S works. but also at the same time you can use it for maybe just exporting to get a higher resolution, right? Like when you design on your normal small iPhone screen size, if you want to export it, bring it back to Figma and then export again, okay, you might lose some quality of that image. So what you can do is maybe export as 2x. So once you export at 2x or 3x, when you bring it back, you will have a a higher image resolution. But please don't always export at 5x or anything higher than 5x. Don't export it and bring it back to Figma, because if you bring it back, Figma will likely scale it down again, so you don't hang their system. Okay. Okay, you answered it. Okay, so Genusoft, this one is from Genusoft. Sir, if we are given a project, are we the one to source out the content? If yes, where can we get the content? UX research. Now it depends on the content you're talking about, and that is what we are basically going to look at today. Because when you talk about the career when it comes to UI UX, you basically have three types of people. I hope everyone is hearing, so you can also learn from this. We basically have, let me not say three, we have four types of people in the scope of UI UX design. Okay, the first one we have are the designers. Okay, the designers, the UI designers. Those are the first set of people. And the next set of people we have are the researchers. Okay, the researchers, these are the people that work with the marketing department or discuss with users and get to know what the user wants by asking them questions. Okay, they ask them questions, they know exactly what they want, then they can come up with solutions and then go back to the UI designer to design those solutions in high fidelity. Then the next set of people you have are the UX writers. UX writers are basically people that write all those things you see on a website and products and apps. Okay, those the text on the buttons, things like the text on feedbacks, like when you're filling your form, the feedback. Those are UX writers. But in reality, if you say you are a UX writer and you just want to do UX writing, if Google or any other big company does not employ you, you are going to remain unemployed, because no startup wants to employ only a UX writer. Okay, which leads us to number 4. Number 4 is what we call the generalist. Okay, generalist. So generalist simply means you do UX, you do UI, you do the UX writing. So you do all in one, and that is the kind of UI UX designers most companies look for, especially here in Nigeria, and also most small medium scale businesses. Most startups are looking for generalists because they want to try as much as possible to save the little money they have, right? So yeah, so when it comes to those writings, Genusoft, I hope you can still hear me. When it comes to those writings, you definitely want to learn a little bit of UX writing, so it's not difficult. And I think with AI now, AI can definitely help you in some of those writings. Yeah, AI can definitely help you, so it's not that difficult. But yeah, for some businesses might give you the content, right? While in some cases you might be the one to develop the writings, and that's as a generalist. So you need to know exactly the role you are taking up. Are you taking up the role of a generalist, or you are taking up a more micro role like UI design? Okay, or you are just doing research as a UX researcher? So we'll take a look at all these things during the course of this part of the training, which is basically going to cover UX design. Okay, let me go back here. Let's see. Any other question? Any other question? Okay, great. Okay, I can see no other question here. So in the next 2 minutes, if I don't get any other question, then I'll proceed to today's lesson. So 2 minutes. Mr. Caleb is asking, will work not kill a generalist? Well, you would have to work. UI UX is actually work. You have to work a lot of the time, because right now A lot of companies use the agile approach to deploy their product. Nobody uses the waterfall method, especially in digital product. When it comes to digital products, a lot of people don't use the waterfall methodology again. Before, when you talk about project management, a lot of companies, software companies, were using the waterfall model, whereby they just get the requirements and then they go ahead and build. And when they now build, they release it and start teaching people how to use it. That's why if you look at most softwares when UX became a thing, right? Most of those softwares at those points, when you finish downloading it, you need someone to come and teach you how to use it, right? But as time goes on, they find out that some of this it takes so much time to release a particular product. So over the years, most of the digital product companies moved to what you call the agile development framework, right? Where they divide teams into smaller groups, break the problems down into smaller niches, and then keep shipping out as each team gets ready with their features. They keep shipping out features, and that's why today, almost every week, you keep updating your Facebook because there's something they are fixing, there's something they are adding, there's something they are augmenting. Okay, so yeah, there is work. Actually, there is work, but it pays. It pays more than most BSc degrees. So yeah, there is work and it pays. So, but work will not kill you. Work has never killed anybody. Sir, someone said, sir, you used the pen tool in one of our tasks. Why did you do so when we have the line tool? Yes, I think I was going to teach you guys that pen tool, but I reserved it for the advanced UI section because it's actually another course on its own. So yeah, so if anytime you want to use the line tool, go ahead and use the line tool. But the line tool might not actually allow you to draw shapes as much as the pen tool will allow you to. Right? When it comes to drawing, pen tool is the standard. But if you just want to draw a straight line, you can use the line tool. But at least that tutorial actually showed you people how to use the pen tool for the first time. So at least now you can use the pen tool to draw 2 points, 3 points, 4 points. But by the time we get to the main class for pen tool, you learn how to draw curves and do other things with the pen tool. Okay. Another question. With all you've explained, sir, how much will an average UI UX earn? Now, basically in Nigeria, the average UI UX person earns about 250,000 naira monthly. Okay, that's the average UI UX designer. That means you are not really working. You are just working in a startup, like normal company, right, or normal agency. You are probably going to earn between 200 to 250,000 naira. Okay, if you are an intern, if you get a paid internship, most of them offer up to 150,000, right, for interns. So between 100 to 150,000. Some wicked ones will give you 50,000 as an intern, but it's good for the work experience. So once you are done, don't say no to any offer, all right? Because once you are done, you are going to be looking for work experience. Okay, so you don't have to say no to any offer. You just have to take some of those offers, get your work experience, and then dust your CV and move to the next stage of your career. But if you eventually get a remote job, you'll probably be looking somewhere around $1,000 to $1,200 for entry levels. So entry level, you are looking at $1,000 to $1,200, and mid-level or associate, you are looking at $1,500 to $2,000, right? And if you probably work in the company for maybe over 6 months, 1 year, you could get a raise. Then senior UI UX designers, you are looking at $5,000 above for remote opportunities. But I don't like overhyping things. So as you are learning, yes, you should make plans to also apply for foreign jobs, but don't also forget to look around you, because most of those foreign jobs would prefer someone with some experience. Okay, but we'll talk about this when we get to the career section. Let's not allow this question to take over what we have in store for today. Okay, Okpelumi DMs, will you teach us the business aspect also, just in case someone have opportunity for freelance work? Yes, but unfortunately for this particular section, the business part is limited to those in guided access. I think I mentioned it the first day we spoke about this, but we'll do as much as possible to give you a lot of information that you would need. But if you really need to, if you really need help with freelancing, to start freelancing or to start earning small on your own without necessarily waiting till you get employed, do well to join the guided access, because that's one of the things we will be doing there. We'll be doing continuous mentorship. So that's what we'll provide it, because to be honest, you can't do all these things within 3 months, except you just want to lie to yourself, okay? So these are some of the things we'll be doing after the 3 months training, when you've gotten the basic skills. So if you don't have the basic skill, you can't do any business. So, but when you've gotten the basic skills, you can go ahead and do every other thing, okay? So, because someone should convert dollar for us. I think dollar is around 1,130 as at today. Yeah, I check it every day. So it's around 1,130. So yeah, so like I said, you guys should keep pushing. It's definitely going to pay off. So that's why we are basically teaching you these things, practical, and how it works in 2023, right? No, we are not teaching you things that are unnecessary. So I think the question here is I can't see any other question. So let's go into the business of today. But if you still have questions, you can always drop them, okay? So someone will copy it out, and we'll still take a look at other stuffs. So if you still have questions, please drop them. Someone will definitely copy it out, and I'll answer them. But without further ado, I want to go ahead and go into today's class, so we actually understand what exactly we are doing. So let's go over to today's class. Okay, I hope you can actually see my screen. So let me see if I can. Oops, I can't, unfortunately. Okay, so introduction to UX design for designers. Now, if you notice, I've made this topic a little more direct, okay? Because to be honest, when you say you are UI UX designer, 70% of what people want to see is your UI, not really your UX. But the truth is the UX that also makes you, to be better than the other UI designer. But in all honesty, 70% of what you are required to show out there is your UX, is your UI, okay? Bumi, yes, yeah, basically that's what it is. For the remote companies, when they pay you $1,000, it's really not much for them, because if they are to get the same service in their country, they will be looking at $4,000 or $3,000, right? So yeah, so it's very important. We will guide you through on how to go about all these things, okay? And we want to also make sure that your portfolio, because at the end of the day, it is your portfolio that will determine if you are going to spend 3 months looking for a job or spend 3 years looking for a job. It's just your portfolio, and maybe a little bit of luck. In the equation success, you can't always take away luck. Yes, there's also a little bit of luck, okay? And if you are also a graduate, that's a plus for you. If you're a graduate, that's a plus for you. You are likely to get job faster. If you're a graduate, you just have to put in your resume to make sure that they know, okay, you are a graduate. Because some of these remote companies, they love to work with everyone, but when it comes to UI UX design, sometimes they prefer graduate, and that is basically due to communication, okay? That's basically due to communication. But if you're not a graduate, what you can do is to actually show that you can communicate, and that is why we've done one Medium article, right? So we are going to do other articles on your own, even without having a project to write on an article. If you can come up with a topic, an excellent topic, or something that is buzzing out there, write about it. This will help you show your prospect that yes, I can really communicate, even though I'm not a graduate, right? I can really communicate. So yeah, so that's just by the way. So let's go into the business of today. Introduction to UX design for designers. Don't forget, if you have a question, drop them in the comment section so that I can answer it once we're done with this class. Okay, so this is just going to be the basic introduction to UI UX design, the way it is done in 2023 and maybe probably 2024. Yes, it will probably change as time goes on, but this is the basic the way most people approach UI UX design right now. That's agencies, not training schools. In training schools, they might want to increase the curriculum, so they'll put in a lot of things just to make sure you feel like yes, that you have money, you've paid money and you've learned something. But in the real world, it's actually a little bit more streamlined, because if you want to apply what they teach in most boot camps and most training schools, if you want to apply them in real life, Facebook was still in beta mode, right? Beta mode by now. It wouldn't have been launched. Okay, so let's move to the next one. So what is UX design? Now this is big English. Okay, UX design is a multidisciplinary approach focused on enhancing user satisfaction and interaction with a product or service. So it involves understanding the needs, behavior, and preferences of user to create a product that is not only functional but also provide a positive and meaningful experience. Now, everything this big English is saying, we are going to break it down, right? Because sometimes when you see it like this, you feel like it is difficult or it's hard to understand, right? So we are going to break it down as we move on. But I just want you to understand that it is not that difficult, okay? So during the assessment, there was a video that was posted, okay? There was a video that was posted, and some of you have sent in your answers. And so what will help you do in the course of this training is to teach you one important skill, that is ability to listen, understand, and clearly communicate. That is the most important thing, the most important skill you need as a UX designer. Ability to listen, understand, and clearly communicate your understanding. Very, very important. Because sometimes when you interview people and you don't listen well, you are probably going to build the wrong product. So it's important you listen. Listening is a skill, right? You learn how to listen and then understand. Then after understanding, ability to even communicate what you've understood is another wahala, right? So you learn how to, be able to communicate whatever you've picked out from what the user is saying, okay? So when you now talk of user experience, UX design, user experience, the question now is, who is the user? Because this is something that confuses most people, right? Who exactly is this user? Well, the individual or individuals who interact with a product, system, service, or application. These are the users. And this is the popular one a lot of people know, right? The users are the individuals who interact with a product, system, service, or an application. These are the users. But the users actually, they are more. Okay? They are actually more, right? Now, users can be end users. So you need to understand this. Users can be end users. So these are the ultimate consumers or individuals who use the product or service for its intended purpose. For instance, now we worked on Spendy. End users are basically people that are going to download Spendy and use Spendy for what we've intended it for. Now you should know that as a UI UX designer, when you design your product, the intention of your product might actually be different from what the end users are going to use it for. I'll give you an example of one of the challenges we faced. There was a time I was contracted by one of the government agencies to design, some kind of a recruitment portal. So one of the requirements was that we wanted to find a way to reduce double registrations, because Nigerians, when you tell them to apply for jobs, a lot of people want to use some means to game the system. And we discovered that with emails, a lot of Nigerians have 10 emails, some have hundreds, right? With emails, some people can just go create different emails, send in their CVs with multiple emails, so that if this one no work, this one work. If this one no enter, this one go enter. And at the same time, they can use multiple emails to apply for multiple roles in case this one no work, this one work. Well, we were looking for a way to limit that, and one of the best options was to implement NIN, right? Was to implement NIN on the platform, which basically is when you come to the platform, instead of filling out the form, you just enter your NIN. Since it's a government agency, we were thinking it's going to be easier, right? So this is where research actually comes in, because at first we were thinking, since it's a government agency and we've not actually worked, I haven't worked for a government agency before, and I was thinking, well, it's going to be easy since they are just the same, brothers and sisters, the same government, right? If we implement NIN and you just come to the website, instead of filling out your name, you just type in your NIN. And once you type in your NIN, what happens? It goes to the NIN API and get your information and furnish it on the system, right? It was a good idea until we did a little research. So when we did the research, we discovered that this is not going to actually work. Although it looks like a great idea, it will never work. Because one, they are even charging. They charge, right? They charge per API calls. So these are things you later get to know so that you can choose the best solution. They charge per API calls. That means for everyone that will be typing in their NIN, they are going to charge. And also there are restrictions to the data NIN is going to give you. So that was already some limitation. But the ultimate one was when we now did a secondary research and discovered that we did another research, another in-house brainstorming session, and we'll actually discover that if you launch a product like that, most Nigerians would use it for something else. Because when you have a portal whereby you impute NIN, and it gives you information from the NIN API, if the NIN is correct, without any other secondary form of validation, like maybe sending an OTP to the person's phone number to actually confirm, right? You might just have criminals coming to the portal, testing different NIN, and anyone that works, they get information, and then they can call the person and tell the person, we see your sister about to die. If you don't bring 25,000 now for this prayer, nah, your sister don't die. Or they will just call you and be like, hey, how are you doing? We just saw your mom now, accident happened, we took your mom to the hospital, bring 100,000, doctor want to operate now. Right? So at the long run, we had to look for another solution, because that solution that looked like it was great wasn't really great after all. So yeah, so these are some of the things. So end users are the people who use your product for what you intended it for. Then you have the next set of users, which are basically customers. So customers, these are people referring to individuals who purchase or subscribe to a product or services, right? So people who subscribe to a product or services, they are called customers. Okay, then we have clients. Clients, basically, this is mainly in B2B applications and not B2C. So when you talk of B2C, that's business to client, customers, right? Then you have B2B, that's business to business scenarios. The users might be clients who use a system or service provided by business for their own operation or benefits. And then you have the last set. These ones, you don't even have, you must make sure you satisfy these people, right? And those are the stakeholders. So users can also include stakeholders such as investors, employees, or any individual who have an interest in or are affected by the product or service. So this is basically a lot of UI UX designers almost and always forget the stakeholders, forgetting that stakeholders are the one bringing in your money. If stakeholders don't even bring out the money, what are you UI UXing for? You are basically not going to do anything if they don't bring out the money, or if they don't like your idea, right? If they don't like your idea, whatever you are doing, they don't care, right? So most of the time when we talk of user experience designer, you are not just designing for, you know, the end users per se. You are also considering these other users most of the time, especially the stakeholders. Because the truth is, let me tell you guys the truth, in reality, you just see one man somewhere, or even you, right? Just somehow, just have an idea. Let me create an app that can bring farmers together, like a marketplace for farmers. They will call you, UI UX designer. Oh yeah, we need design for... If you start talking too much, they will leave you, right? Because to them, they just want a marketplace where farmers can push their product and people can buy. And in their head, they just want it like that. So you trying to introduce a lot of things that would delay or that they might not see as relevant, especially depending on how you present it, they will just skip you and go to the next UI designer. If you people are wasting time, they skip all of you and buy a WordPress template and start their business, because they can't be wasting time waiting for you when they are supposed to be making money already. Okay, so you always have to consider them. They are very, very important when it comes to UI design. So what is the real goal of UX design? What is the real goal? The real goal is basically to make customers happy, because by making customers happy and satisfied, your business or the company you are working for makes more money. This is the reality of what UX design is all about, right? UX design is just businesses trying to make their customers happy, and by doing so, make more money. Why do you think Apple will put in so much money into research and development? Is to make the iPhone better, so that you use it seamlessly and keep buying it every year. Even though your former phone is not bad, you want to buy the new one, right? Because they've made it better. They've now told you that your camera now can now shoot heaven and back. Then you look at your former one that was shooting the moon, and you said, no, it's not good again. You want the one that will shoot heaven and back. Now, that is basically the main goal of UX design. So as a UI UX designer, you should have it at the back of your mind that the main goal, why a company wants to employ you, is not to make customers your priority. Yes, customers are your priority, but the main goal is to find way to make sure the company makes more money through your design. And we'll still introduce you to things like dark patterns in UX, okay? If you notice, it's very easy to subscribe to your Netflix than to quit, right? If you want to subscribe to Netflix now, very easy. Just download it. Everything, sham, you can pay. Put in your card, pay, easy. Go and delete it. Just say you are not doing again. In fact, the first step is that once you say you are not doing again, you want to cancel, they will first ask you, please go to the website. It's not something you can do from the phone app. Now you move to phone app. Where is it? You look for it. If care is not taken, in the process of looking for how to delete or cancel your subscription, you will just continue. In fact, the UX designers design it in such a way that they want to make sure you don't cancel that payment, to the point that when you eventually see it and you click on cancel, they will say, hold on, we can give you 1 month free to keep watching. Now, all these things are UX design, okay? Not necessarily UI now. All this experience now. Imagine you want to cancel and they are saying, hold on, we will give you extra 1 month free for you not to cancel this. Free 1 month for you. Now that is user experience design. So you need to start understanding what user experience design is all about. At that point, how do you think the user will feel? except you chop wish or you are broke to brokendom. That's the only time. In fact, even if you are broke, that would be more reason for you to even take that one more month. Now, what they want to ensure is that you do not remove your card, because it's always easy for them to remove the money from the card, right? Now, these are some UI UX tricks you begin to discover as you become a UX designer. Let me tell you another thing. TikTok used a UX design psychology to make people spend on TikTok. If you know the amount of money people spend on TikTok, you will be amazed, okay? Because when TikTok started, they were looking for a way to make their platform profitable without necessarily running adverts like Instagram. Now, what did they do? They introduced incentives for creators, which is basically TikTok coins. Now, the truth is, if you go on TikTok, for those of you that are always on TikTok, if you should go on TikTok and you join one of those lives, it's going to be difficult for you to send someone 100 naira or 500 naira or 1,000 naira or 5,000 naira. Imagine the person made you happy and you just want to support the person, and you have to go into your bank app to transfer 5,000 naira to the person. In as much as you have that money, it's just a lot of work, right? It's just a lot of work. Now, what TikTok did was to create coins, right? Now, when they created those coins, they made it easy for you to purchase the coins. And when you purchase those coins, instead of seeing them as coins, because it's psychology, if I purchase coins and I'm seeing them as coins, I will still relate them to money. What will happen if I still relate them to money? I will spend it as if I'm spending money. But what did TikTok do? When you pay money, instead of giving you coin, they give you flowers. You know, just one flower, right? One flower, right? One gift box. They converted it to some of those, you know, little things that are easy to give. And they even added multi-tap for those coins. So when you're on TikTok gifting, you won't even know when you've gifted up to 10,000 naira. It's after gifting, after you've left the life, right? That's when you begin to calculate and you realize that, I have actually spent 10,000 on gifts. Gifting someone I don't know, just because I'm on live and they say they're having match, and you are there gifting and they are hailing your name, you keep gifting. Now that is all these things are psychology, right? So this is what businesses hire you as a UX designer to do, to create fun experience that will make customers happy and give their money to the business. That is the real ugly truth about the goal of UX design. So your UX design is not just to make customer happy. If making customer happy does not relate to the company making more money, your UX design is bullshit. In fact, there are some solutions you are going to bring to stakeholders. When they evaluate it and see that this solution is only making customer happy, it is not making us smile to the bank, they will not sign off on it. They will not approve it. So most of the big US designers, you have to have it at the back of your mind that UX design, the real goal is to make that your company more profitable. Okay? Yes, there might be some experience that you will design that will, you know, make it just make the app more easy. But at the end of the day, it is to make the app more profitable. Think of any successful app you know. Think of any successful app you know. Everything they've done for the UX is for you to easily what? Convert to money. Take a look at the way Instagram is designed, right? The way Instagram is designed, TikTok, all of them are designed so that you stay on the app. Because the more you stay on the app, the more money the company makes. So if you have an idea right now, that can actually make more people spend time on Instagram than TikTok, Facebook is looking for you. Mark Zuckerberg is looking for you. If you have an idea that can make people to stay more on Instagram than TikTok, right? TikTok did their research well, and then they came up with short videos, because TikTok is basically Instagram stories or Snapchat on steroids, right? So all these things are things you need to know. So you need to understand that UX design is serious business. So when you are thinking of UX, it's not just user. No. User, yes, but the user, like I just showed you guys, the user also includes the stakeholders. So businesses want to make money. So what do customer needs, and what is your business goal? These are two things you should be thinking of as a UX designer. What is the business goal, and also what do customer needs? Every feature you should come up with should match these two. It should match what customers need and what the business, and to make sure that that thing that they need aligns with the business goals. Okay, so let's move forward. I hope we are actually learning. I can see a lot of laughter in this comment section. I hope we're actually following up. Okay, so let's proceed. So what will you be doing as a UI/UX designer? If they eventually employ you, what exactly are you going to be doing? Okay, now there's just 4 things you are going to do. 4 main things. The first one is to create new app concepts. Think of the people that designed the UI/UX designers that designed ChatGPT, for instance. Because as at last 2 years, in fact, as at early last year, there is nothing like ChatGPT, right? Now think of the people that designed ChatGPT. You find out that yes, there have been AI, they've been AI, but AI as we know it today is basically based on what we have, what we've seen ChatGPT do. So people that design those type of apps, these are new app concepts. Okay, right now we are entering the world of AR and VR. There are going to be people who will be developing a lot of products around that ecosystem. Now this is what we refer to as new app or concept. So as a UI/UX designer, you are going to be working on a new app or a new concept. Let me see. I think our network is. Let me check the network. Okay. Let me see. I hope it doesn't disconnect again. So as a UI/UX designer, 1, you are going to be working mostly creating new app concepts. Number two, fixing UI/UX issues on an existing app. In fact, this will be the one you are most likely to do as a junior designer. Once you are hired as a junior designer, nobody is expecting you to come and be doing new app concepts, except they want to risk their money. Because they know they look for help. For who they look for help? Because you are just starting and you are obviously trying to stand on your feet. So they obviously can't tell you to come and start working on a new concept. So most of the things they will hire you to do is to be able to fix issues on existing apps, right? These are the things you are likely to be doing. Now, the third thing you are likely to do is to discover and add new feature. Discover and add new feature based on observation or user request. So the third thing you are likely going to be doing is to discover and add new feature. Now this new feature could be based on observation or user request. For instance, we all know when Instagram thread came out. When it came out, I already know that it won't really catch up, especially because of the way they did the onboarding, right? Now, but somehow, someone suggested a new feature on Instagram, whereby when you scroll, you start seeing threads. So when you see those threads, sometimes they can be interesting, and then you just click on it to read the whole content. You can see how they now brought you back to thread, right? So you can actually add new feature based on observation or user requests, right? For instance, if Netflix should hire you now, one of the most important thing I still think, I don't know, it's a big problem on Netflix, and even me, I've been thinking of a way to easily fix it, right? But sometimes not all problems are UX issues. Sometimes it's just, especially with app like Netflix, sometimes it could just be content issues. Because sometimes, if you actually notice, most of the Netflix users, they spend more time looking for movie to watch than actually watching movie. So, a feature that can actually help people get over with all those things can help. And I think they introduced something like short clips in Netflix, but the truth is people rarely click on it. I rarely click on it. My friends rarely click on it. In fact, a lot of people go to Netflix, they don't even know something like that is there, right? So sometimes as a UX designer, you carry out some research, you discover that people are not actually clicking on this. Then you ask yourself, what can we do to make people click on it? A possible answer might be, you could make it like a floating, a kind of, give it a separate page on its own, a separate section, right? Or you can decide that, okay, let's do it like this. Immediately people open the Netflix app, instead of seeing videos, it should start showing those short clips. Then there should be a button at the top that probably will say go to movies, something like that. All these things are just hypotheses. You don't know if they are going to work until you propose them, design them, test them. When you test them and you find out that, people actually started watching these shorts, and from there they were able to find movies that are interesting to watch, then you can decide, okay, let's ship that feature. If after your testing you find out that it was confusing people and making people annoyed, and in fact it was making people not to enter the app or exit the app immediately to see the short, bagam, you won't release that feature, you hold it back, right? So yes, another one now is improving existing feature. So it's different from fixing issues. Fixing issues means you've detected an issue, you want to fix that issue. Improving an existing feature means, yes, this feature is working, but we can make it better. Okay? Now, all these things you are seeing here, these 4 things you are seeing here, you are going to be learning how to do them. Like I told you, people, things like design, what's it called? The name just skipped my mind right now. Where we have empathy and the rest of them. Yes, these things kind of, these are just frameworks. So when it comes to design thinking is just one framework that you can actually use to solve design challenges. But design thinking is becoming a little bit old school and boring. Okay, you move from one stage, iterate. The truth, a lot of people just do hypothesis, design tests, refine. They keep doing it, and that's what we are going to be learning how to do. Because how do you discover or add new feature based on observation or request? It's basically by observing or by asking questions, right? So we'll take a look at how to perform research. Not just telling you research, but how to do research. Because at the end of the day, a lot of boot camps, they tell you about research, they tell you about types of research and all these things about research, but you end up not doing the actual research, right? That's why that video we sent in today is actually an interview, a user interview. That's a sample user interview, right? So now it's one thing to finish doing the interview, and it's one thing to also analyze the interview and get the necessary details you want from those interviews. Okay, so No, I'm actually talking about design thinking. Yes, not design sprint. But we'll take a look at all those things. The next one now. Let's see the next thing on this slide. So what are the key components of UX design? After this, we'll take a look at one other slide, and then we'll discuss. And over the week, you are going to be reading a lot. So UX design is all about reading, because what UX design is 50% research and 50% psychology. That's the truth. Okay? UX design, 50% research, 50% psychology. So in a way, UX design is basically a way of thinking. It's how you think that makes you different from other UX designers, right? We have different types of thinkers. Although we'll take a look at some jargons, but we won't let those jargons, obstruct us from learning the right thing, like the way it works in agencies. In some schools, they want to teach you different types of thinking. People that think this way, we have different types of thinking, all those kind of jargons. If you know different types of thinking, have you provided what will make the company more money? Right? So a lot of us are already doing things. A lot of us are already doing things that we don't know there's actually an English name for. Right? So, okay. Yeah, you say you just understood why they were talking about wallets. Yeah. So that video basically is, an interview about someone's wallet. So probably they want to create a new wallet, a new kind of wallet, right? And they need to understand how people view their current wallet. Hence that interview. So key components, when it comes to components of UX design, the most important thing is, for me, the most important thing is information architecture, and that is organizing and structuring content. Because by the time you've done your interviews, by the time you've conducted your interviews or you've done your research, you are going to have some informations everywhere. Now, how do you logically structure those contents? Imagine you enter a website, right? Imagine you enter a website and you couldn't find home or about us on the top level navigation. Instead, what you are seeing on the top level navigation is maybe settings. So how do you logically arrange all this information? Because it's when you've done your properly organize your information architecture, you can actually know, okay, this is what is coming before this. Imagine designing a dashboard. When you are designing a dashboard, you are going to have a lot of menu. So how do you logically arrange them in a way that makes sense? So we are going to be taking a look at how to arrange structures, right? Organizing structure, that's information architecture. The next one you want to take a look at now is interaction design. After you've been able to arrange all this information, how do they move from one place to another? Okay? Like when you tap something, what happens? Interaction design, it could be full moving from one screen to another. It could also be micro interaction, right? Some people even include sound here, because when you click the Facebook like button, those sound that it makes. But please, you are not creating sound. You are not a sound engineer, but you just have to have it in mind. As a UX designer, you might also work with people that will be creating those sounds. So you are going to be testing those sounds. There are people in Facebook, that's what their job is, to test the sounds, and they ask them, how do you feel about this sound? And you see them speaking big grammar just to say how they feel about the sound. But yeah, it's part of their job, okay? Then you have the cocoa, which is visual design. This is where you talk about aesthetics and branding, use of colors, typography, and imagery. Okay? Okay, I like this question, and I will answer it. And that's the question from Bakari Ayomide. I'm going to answer this question shortly, once I'm done with this particular screen. Okay? And then the last thing is usability. So after you've designed, you also want to do usability testing. you definitely want to do what? Usability testing. And during your usability testing, some of the key areas you might want to focus on is accessibility, right? You want to focus on accessibility. Now, we did something with accessibility in colors, just to be checking color contrast, right? There are other ways to design for accessibility aside checking for color contrast. Okay, we'll take a look at all those things in the advanced UI design, where we have a full topic on accessibility, right? What we just did last time was checking color contrast. Yes, color contrast is part of what? Accessibility, and is the most important one you need to know now, because you need to start pushing your designs out there, and you need to be able to say, okay, this design is accessible. Some of the questions they might ask you in your design interview is, what do you do to ensure your design is accessible? These are simple questions, and answer could be, you make sure that you always do your contrast check by the time you are done with your design, right? Now, there are other things in accessibility you need to also test before you can actually push it out there. So all this thing comes under usability testing. Okay, now these are the main components of UX design. Remember who you are designing for: the user. The user is not just the end user, but also the business. And for any UX designer, you always have to make sure you are aligning the features with the business goals. These are things you should always remember. Okay, now let me answer this question. How do you get to know what thousands of users feel when you want to include a new feature on the app? Good question. Now, for this question, the answer is to ask. You ask questions. Now, every now and then, when you are using an app, you see things like, maybe you just see a pop-up asking you, tell us how we are doing, or asking you questions. Those questions is just you answering surveys for the UX department and the marketing department. Now, if those app should give you a form, 10 questions, you will never fill it. Trust me, you will never fill it. If those company come to you and say, abeg help us, you will never, right? But instead, what they can do is to have what they call a goal, a research goal. Maybe it could be that they want to just check out something fast, right? And then they push out some of those questions. One question, they will just ask you, maybe if it's a new app, an app that just rebranded, they will just ask you, in a scale of 10, tell us how do you think the new redesign is in a scale of 10, 0 being bad, 10 being good. It's easy for you to just tap 5 and click send. Now, that is a type of research called quantitative research. We'll take a look at all these things and break it down. They are not difficult. Qualitative, quantitative research, they are not difficult. I will even explain it, but we'll still have a class where we'll break it down further and actually look at how to conduct some of those research. Okay. So yes, so they basically ask. UX design is all about asking questions. There is no two way about it, right? Even if you ask someone, how difficult do you find it using this app? You're already doing UX design. Okay. We have mainly two types of UX research. You have qualitative research and quantitative research. Now, the first one is quantitative research. It deals with numbers, right? You use it to get opinions. Exactly like feedback in Google Play Store, yes. So you use it to get opinions, basically, right? Maybe if you want to know how many people use a ride-hailing app in a particular location, right? You are definitely going to use quantitative, quantify, that's number. Because they can be confusing. Qualitative and quantitative can be confusing. But here is how you get to know which is which. Quantify, anytime you hear quantify, it's dealing with numbers, right? Good. So when you hear quantitative research, it is dealing with numbers. So you can just send out a survey and ask people, do you use a ride-hailing app in your area? If they say yes, that is 1. If they say no, that is 2. If they say no, that's 1. So at the end of the day, you look at the trend. You see, oh, 50% said they use, 30% didn't respond, 20% said they did not use. Now that will now give you an idea. Oh, these people actually use such app. But when it comes to providing solutions, numbers can't tell you. When it comes to providing solutions, numbers are not going to tell you. Instead, what it's going to tell you is asking the user, what is the problem with that product? And that is where qualitative research comes in. Qualitative, okay? You ask people you ask open-ended questions for them to actually answer you, okay? So that's how it works. Now, that's one way. Surveys, that's one way to get to know what users feel, to do survey. Another type of research most people do, some people do closed user group, because if you can't necessarily interview 100 people. No, highest you want to interview is 5. If you go more than 5, company will not sponsor it, right? Company will sponsor it. So highest you want to interview is 5. If in fact, as the billions of people using WhatsApp, they did not interview billions of people before WhatsApp was built. Highest is just like 5 people in tweeting from one bedroom. Okay, so yes, you don't want to interview a lot of people. 5 is fine, right? With 5, you can get enough insight to build, knowing that each of those 5 people can represent different personas. So we'll take a look at how do you choose participants because like I said, you are not going to necessarily interview a lot of people, right? It's just going to be like, but if you are trying to do quantitative research, you need numbers. That's why a lot of quantitative research goes out in form of surveys, right? Sometimes when I see upcoming designers sending in quantitative research to so many people or sharing it in a group and say, please help me answer, I just laugh, because nobody is going to click on that your phone and spend how many minutes answering questions that the answers on Google, because people find it boring. Questions that the answers are already on Google. Instead of you to go there and do what you call secondary research, you are trying to force primary research on yourself, and people don't answer these things. Then later you just go and start forming things that are not there, and thereby making the whole process cumbersome and tiring for yourself, right? Because once users don't give you any feedback, any other thing you are doing, you are making the whole process difficult if you don't get real user feedback. Okay, so instead of that, what you can do is to talk to 3 or 4 people that you know when you've weighed them, right? Because what most people do is, what most designers, especially designers that are just starting, what they do is they post these qualitative questions out there, and people that are not even qualified, people that don't match the user base, get to answer those questions, right? Which is wrong. So you have to make sure, for instance now, if you want to imagine trying to build an app for pregnant women, then you now drop the question in your WhatsApp group chat, and you now have men going there to answer the question, and ladies who have not given birth, you now have them answering the question. What do you possibly think you are going to get as a result? You are going to build the wrong product, right? So if you are trying to build a product for pregnant women, the least you can do is, if you are a Christian, go to the church. If you are a Muslim, go to the mosque. If you are a traditionalist, go to the shrine. If you are an atheist, go to the streets. Or just go any. In fact, even as an atheist, I can still go to church for the for the purpose of that research. Go and talk to 3 or 4 pregnant women and ask them those questions, because they will be the best people to answer those questions. So sometimes just when it comes to qualitative research, don't just drop questions anyhow. Okay, you have to make sure the people that you are sending it out to, they are able to provide you quality feedbacks. But if it is quantitative, anyone can answer because you are looking at trends. So quantitative, you need large number of people. Okay, but when it comes to qualitative, you don't need much. You can always, take 3 or 4 people, ask them questions, then get the feedback you are looking for. So I hope you actually understand what I've been trying to explain to you. I'm just trying to break it down so you actually understand. So it's all about asking questions. Asking 2 types of questions. What do you want? And do you do this? Trends. Qualitative research will help you understand the problem. Quantitative research will help you validate the problem. Okay? So very important things. Quantitative is all about trends. Qualitative is all about understanding the why behind the trend. Very important. Okay? Let me see another question. So does that mean we would make use of mostly the qualitative approach in UX since quantitative cannot solve problems? Exactly. When it comes to solving problems, it is not quantitative. You are not asking any quantitative question when it comes to solving problems because they won't give you any answer. When it comes to solving problems, you are asking qualitative questions. These are open-ended questions. For instance, how do you see this app? How do you see this app experience? Then you let the person to freely say, I like this, but I don't like this because it's not solving my problem and this is my problem. Asking a user, it's better for you to meet a user and say, what problem do you have with this app? Than to be testing each feature and say, do you like this app or not? 10 people say no, 10 people don't say no. You keep measuring different parameters. Instead of you to just ask people, I beg, what don't you like about? In fact, in some cases, you even have to ask users, what do you think can be done to fix this? Because you want to hear their own opinion, right? It's very important. So we'll take a look at all those things. Yes, Ogun fit reveal am to person now. Very true. That is why I told you it's all about what? 50% research, 50% psychology. That is what UX design is all about. 50% research, 50% psychology. You create a hypothesis and then you use your psychology to think ahead of the designer. So a UX designer is sometimes like a magician because sometimes you think ahead of the design of the user, because sometimes when the user tells you this, they actually mean more, but most times they don't know how to explain it. So as a UX designer, you are the one to figure those things out. Okay. Someone said, when do we really do usability testing? Is it after app or website is completed or while wireframing? Good question. In a lot of places, they will tell you to do it while wireframing, but it's 2023. It's 2023. If you even send wireframe to people for usability testing, you will never complete that project. Reason being that 2023, people are over wireframes. You see all those wireframes sketching and it's just for a project. In real life, people don't tire. They want to see the real product, right? So usability tests is, in the real world though, is mostly done once you have an MVP. That's a minimum viable product, or the last stage to an MVP. Once you've built it, right? Let's assume I'm designing a website right now. Good. Let me use this instance. Let's assume I'm designing a website right now. It is not when I don't sketch and send to my customer or send to my clients to test it or send to people to help me test it before I design. That's a waste of time. Instead, I create the most viable version of that website. Then I send it in. It is from that viable version that people say, change this, change it, change this, and then you take those real feedbacks, because that is, you want for usability testing to really give you best result, you want something that is as close as possible to the main thing. Okay, so you want something that is as close as possible to the main product to really get the dividends of usability studies. Okay. Jenny Soft, I think you're not the only one. Okay, so like I said, if you have questions, please drop them, because next week is going to be extremely interesting. So if you have questions, do well to drop them. Okay, let's take a look at the next one, and I think this is where we are going to close the curtain for today, and that is the UX design process. Okay, UX design process. This is what we've been saying since. So how exactly do you design? Right? To design, basically, do little research, do some research. In fact, some of this research, there are some that are very important. There are some that are not important. Okay? Some of this research, there are some that are not important, there are some that are important. Right? And when it comes to research, trust me, user personas, people hardly use it. People hardly use it. You only use it on your portfolio so that you beef it up, you know. By the time the employer see you did user persona, they'll say good. Because at the end of the day, the people that actually have the responsibility of creating user personas, they are the marketing department, not you. You that is UX designer, right? Because the marketing department have more info than you. Okay, so the marketing department have more info than you. So user personas is just one of those things you use to make your portfolio look as if you are designing to save the world, right? The most important thing you do most of the time is competitor analysis and market research. You do Shina Yomijan, I'll answer this question shortly. Okay, so you do market research most of the time to validate your idea. Let's assume you are coming up with a new product, right? If you are coming up with a new product, you do market research. Now I'm going to show you some websites. These things are not difficult, right? They are there. Over the course of this UX design, you just learn them, right? So if you are coming up with a new product, just to validate your idea, you can do a little bit of market research to find if there is a user for that product. Remember what we said, what UX design is all about. It's all about making stakeholders happy, aligning user need to business goals. So if there is no making of money inside what you want to solve, please forget it. Nobody is hiring you. Nobody wants to hire you to come and waste their money, right? That brings me to, there's this hypothesis that someone told me one time. The person said, what if someone actually had manufactured a time travel machine, right? And in doing so, they discovered that after they manufactured a time travel machine, it disrupted a lot of industries. For instance, if you have a time travel machine, you can use it and enter some of the best hotels. And before they know it, bam, you don't go back to Ajegule. Before you know, bam, you're there, Banana Island, right? People, transportation industry, gone. Hospitality industry, gone. Everything gone, basically, because with time machines, people just do things at a blink. So what if this was discovered and they now decided to, destroy the time machine and make sure nobody creates any other time machine? Now, what am I trying to say? Sometimes when you develop products that only benefit the user and makes zero money for the company, they will not approve it. They will not approve it because you can't come and waste their money. Who are you? the UX you are doing must align with business goals. So research, the most important thing you are going to be doing. There is a screen we'll look at next week, right? And I think next week we might have our class on a Sunday, on a Friday, because I think on a Sunday, because we might do 2 hours 30 minutes, okay, to explain, because there are a lot of things you'll be doing over the weekend and we'll have to explain it more, okay? So they are not difficult to do. So you do your market analysis. Market analysis, remember, only if you are working on a new type of product. Remember what we said a UX designer does. You work on a new product, you fix UI UX issues, you create new features, and also you fix existing features. These are the 4 things you do, okay? Now, if what you are doing is not a new product, you don't need market analysis, my sister and my brethren. You don't need it, okay? But if what you are doing is already existing, all what you need to do is competitor analysis. Yes, competitor analysis is basically looking at what others have done and seeing and detecting what can be improved, or mix matching it into your own. Let's assume you are building a website for a coffee store, and they employ you as the UX designer to build a website for a coffee store, and you check around the competitions around that place, and you discover that these people only sells in the morning. What you as a UX designer can now suggest is you can tell the restaurant owner, shebi na still money you want to make. See, these people, they only do in the morning. Now if you also come out in the morning, una go dey drag customer. Why not change your time to evening session, so that all those people that are hungry at night, they will come here and eat. Now that is that is competitor analysis. You've checked all those other ones, you've seen their weaknesses and the stuffs like that, right? They are different. There's competitor analysis is very easy to do, right? So we'll take a look at what to do. And in terms of websites, when you are doing competitor analysis for websites, you want to basically do something like heuristic evaluation. And these are just some steps. We'll give you those steps. You go to different websites and start comparing some certain things, right? So basically, that is what you do. And after you've done your research should give you example of sample of what you need. Now, basically apps are just bunch of features piled together. Aside the features, there are standard things you should know in apps, right? So for instance, if it is an app that requires user authentication, standard, you must have your login flow and registration process. Standard, normal. That one, you know, is out of the way. Now, since it's going to be an app that requires user authentication, normal, you have your login and you don't need to think about that one. It's standard, right? If it's going to be that means by the time the person input their name, blah blah blah, they should also have a way to edit. That takes you to account settings. So those ones are standard, normal. Now you ask your customer, how do you want to provide customer feedback? Are you going to add like instant response, chat, or form to submit? Or you don't want people to respond from the app? Maybe they want to visit the website. If they say they don't want that, normal, no feedback. Now once you've gotten those basic ones, the question now is, what will this app do? You take the first thing. For instance, Spendy, what will the app do? The app basically was doing 3 things. 3 things like buy airtime, pay bills, transfer money. Shikina, you take those 3 features, you design their flow. Now, as time goes on, you begin to ask, do users want to get detailed analysis about the product? If users want that, fine, you go ahead and create that flow again. So it's very easy to do, right? All these things they tell you, card sorting, these are just normal things that they wrap with big English, and you begin to think you don't know it. You've been doing it all this while. Okay? If you have multiple ideas, how do you choose one to do? Is it not to present all the multiple ideas and look at the ones people mentioned the most? That is basically what they do with card sorting. But you know, when it's being taught, it's been over bloated. You see people taking 3 days or 4 days to be learning card sorting and speaking English. Wahala dey. So we are not going to we explain all those things, but we will not use them, right? We will not use them, don't worry. You won't even use it in your office, except you just want to show off. Maybe they are paying you 2 million naira, and you start feeling like that 2 million naira car, you are cheating this company. So you really want to show them that you worth the 2 million naira, so you can do all those long process. One process that is supposed to take 1 hour, you can do it for 11 days, so that they can see that this 2 million is worth it. Now, once you are done with your research, you move to design. Arrange all the information you've gotten, create your information architecture, create your wireframe. Now, wireframe here could be the sketches, the initial sketches. Now, a lot of people don't do those middle wireframes, like I told you guys earlier during the presentation. Most people just do from sketch. Sketch is just to put your ideas together most of the time, okay? But trust me, with AI now, a lot of people have left their sketching for AI to do, right? I know some of you have not used some of these AIs. A lot of people have left their sketching for AI to do. AI just do sketch, they carry it, they go and do high fidelity mock-ups, right? So after you've done this, you do prototyping. Prototyping, like I said, prototype something that is very close to your final results. That's the best way to get it. And then you can see where usability testing comes in. Once you are done, you can do your testing. You can do usability testing, do feedback collection, then iterate on it. Iterate means you keep improving. And this is how most products agencies work. Once they have the MVP, minimum viable product, once they have it, bagam, they don't ship them. Once they have it, they don't ship them, and people start using it. That is it. And if there are any other issues, they keep fixing it and ship it for people to be updating. Okay? Someone asked a question. Someone asked a question about how we screen feedback from how do we screen feedback from users. You screen it by looking at it now. So it depends on if the feedback is qualitative or quantitative. Like I just told you, there are two main research type, quantitative and qualitative. If it is quantitative, it's easy. You can just link that form to a kind of dashboard, a quantitative, a number-based dashboard, that as they are filling it, you are looking at that dashboard and you are just seeing the trends. You are seeing the trend. But if it is qualitative, someone have to read it and try to understand. Okay, so let's take a look at some websites that you'll be needing for this journey. Okay, let me see. Okay, here are some websites that will help you. So anytime, this is a tip you should take note of. When you are done and you are trying to create projects for your portfolio. Now I'm just going to scroll through here. Disclaimer, this is just for educational purpose, okay? Now, this is what you can actually do. If you are looking for an idea to develop for your portfolio, instead of going to choose fake ideas that does not have any value, you can just come to this product hunt. These are places people put ideas, real ideas, so that they are working on, and they are looking for all these sponsors and things. If you come here, for instance, now, if I click on this, let me see. Okay, if I click on this one now, find lost vehicles, you can see this is the kind of problem statement and solution here. So a lot of stolen vehicles get eventually sold on online market. Using vision and contextual AI, we periodically analyze thousands of online vehicle marketplace posting in real time to spot if your lost vehicle is up for sales and report it to you. Now you can see the idea these people are trying to solve. You can now take up this as a project and try see if you can build a product that can solve this. These are the type of project that attract recruiters, not doing something when they no send you, or trying to save the world when you are lying to yourself. Your user persona, now you fake am. User interview, now you set question, now you still answer am, you still fake it instead of using real data. So you can see, if you even scroll down, you can see if people have tested it, and you can see some of the things people are saying. You can see someone said, nice concept, I hope this becomes available in different countries. Congrats to the launch. This is fascinating, real neat application of vision. Now if you now want, you can now go and create your own. You are not creating to take over from this person, but you are building something that will actually make you work. Because for instance, now what this person is trying to say is that this app is going to use vision and contextual AI. Now you can now go and do more research on vision and contextual AI. That is how you become a good UX designer, okay, and design something like this. This is a real solution, not some made up solutions. So product hunt, I like product hunt, and yeah, you can always use it. Let me bring it here. Let me be entering it 1-1. Okay, let me bring this here, and let me just put this here. Let me get this. Okay, let me get this, and let's start with this product launch. The next one here is this website. This website, let me just make it fill up. Crunchbase. Now take note of this website. Crunchbase, very important website. If you are looking to perform competitive analysis, Crunchbase can actually businesses. You can actually search for business or companies. Let me type in. Hopefully it reconnects. Okay, I think we are back online. We are back online. So let me see. Organization. I don't know. Let me take a look at this one. Okay. So you can see the people here, the summary, and this company doesn't have much information. Okay, they don't have much information. But basically on this website, you can search for companies, right, or people, and you also use it for market research. If you come here, you can see market research with the best-in-class company data, right? So by the time we start, we are going to create a free account, a free trial account, just to learn how to do market research. And sometimes you might not even need these people. A simple Google search can give you the fact that you are looking for. Okay, a simple Google search can give you the fact that you are actually looking for. So there are a lot of things you can actually achieve easily and faster. Okay, there's this other one. This is not. It's not coming up. Let me see. So we're almost done for today. If you have any question, please drop them. So if you have any question, please drop them. Now this is another website that is very important. If, let's assume, a company reaches out to you and you just want to do something sharply for the company, but you don't have any information about the company, you can easily come to this website. So on this website, you can actually get real user feedbacks, okay? Because there are some apps that are not on Play Store, so you might not be able to get feedbacks. But on this particular app, you can search for any company or any product, and let me see. So I can't see Jumia here, so they are not on g2.com. Okay, let me just use something very popular. Okay, so let's just do. Okay, let me just take something like this one, this Amazon Quick Insights, just for us to know exactly. So here, people always drop reviews. So you can see right now, here they have 282 reviews on this product. So you as a UX designer, you can actually come here to just glance through some of these reviews and see what people use it for and what people don't like about it. So you can see question like, what do you like about this? You can see people saying what they like. What do you dislike about this? You can see people saying what they dislike. So you can, from here, you can begin to see features that could be developed for this particular product. Okay. So there are a lot of websites we'll be taking a look at in the process of this this training. Another one is capterra.com. I'm giving you very popular ones that we'll take a look at, and use real data to create our designs. Okay, using real data and using real life problems, solving real life problems, not something they did not send you. Now, aside solving, you must not create new products entirely. Something you could also look at is what can be added to Instagram to make it retain more attention. Right? If you don't know the answer, or if you don't have any hypothesis to propose and design, then test. So there are two ways. When you don't have an answer or a hypothesis to propose and test, okay, you ask people. That is what asking people is basically what they mean by research. Research is asking people. Okay, it's as simple as that. Research is asking people. Don't worry, all these websites, we'll take a look at them in depth over the course of the weekend. Don't worry. Over the course of next week. So once you don't have a solution to propose for them to design and test, that is when you ask question, and that asking question and they call research. Okay, it's as easy and as simple as that. Okay, so next section will actually be where everything will become extremely clear, because from what you guys will do next week, the next section will over explain the things, and you people will now follow through with doing. You will be tasked to conduct research. You will conduct research and analyze it yourself. It is not difficult to analyze research. If you have a brain, you can analyze a research. Okay, and if you don't have a brain, you can use AI to analyze your research. Anyway, I think that is what we can take for today. I hope you guys learned something, and we just want to make sure that some of these videos we are able to clarify UX design for you, so you don't think it's this rocket science. You know, when you hear UX researchers, you think you are part of the team that will be going to the moon. No, your own is just to ask people what you know, like, what you want, what you know want. Right? You sabi this thing, you dey use them. From there, you can make informed, intelligent decision, and then guesswork. It's all about guessing. When you guess, you do it, you test it out, and then people with the good ideas now then be senior UX designers. So, do you have any question? If you have any question, don't worry. We'll share all these websites. These are real life websites. I even forgot one of the most important one again that a lot of people do. So for instance now, when you want to do something like usability testing, one of the most popular websites for usability testing is what I'm about to even show you. Hotjar. Hotjar.com. So this is the one we normally use. This is the one we normally use. Even on the Designgate website. On the Designgate website, this is the one we have on Designgate website. Hotjar. So this is actually the one we have on Designgate website. So Anybody that visits Designgate website, we have a screen recording of all their interactions. So by the time we do the new website for the next batch, you are going to see some of the changes, and those changes were informed by, you know, the interactions and how we saw people interacting with the website. Okay, so this hotjar does a lot of things, including what you call heat mapping. Okay, heat mapping, it also does eye tracking, right, to know where users are, to know how far the user was able to complete a flow. Okay, so they are not difficult to use. These are all softwares. You employ software. If now to ask question, Google form is there. If you don't want to use Google form, type form is there. So all those tools we mentioned, we will start learning how to use them. Okay, so any other question? So I'm going to give us 3 minutes to ask question. If we don't have any question in that 3 minutes, then we can call it a day. And please make sure you do your assessments. It's very important. And you know the assessment deadline is today, 11:59 p.m. Please do it. Don't go to the DMs on Telegram, WhatsApp, and everywhere saying I beg. Please do it, okay? It's very important. It's for your own good. So, any question? Oluwapelumi, don't worry. It will be shared on the portal. Okay. The problem is a lot of you don't like reading. You can't be a UX designer and you don't like reading. In fact, as a UX designer, you have to read. You have to pay attention to details. I'm just waiting because I saw a lot of things and I've been laughing from the assessments. I was so happy when I saw some people failing some questions because it basically shows that they don't read, which is bad. John Akintoye, definitely once you are done with the training, we'll be showing you how to create your case studies, right? But for those on guided assistance, we'll even give you tools that will help you create your case study faster. So yes, if you finish this training without any case study, what you can't do? Who will employ you? The essence of all this training is for you to be able to create a case study that you are going to put on your portfolio, okay? So yes, you'll be doing that. Yeah, I think Bumi is the class captain. I can see that. We didn't get a task today, sir. Yeah, the daily UI challenge. I want to keep it Monday to Friday because some people are unable to breathe. They are saying, I beg, let us breathe. So Saturday, Sunday, you can breathe. Monday, we go again. So Monday to Friday. Kindly talk. Geniusoft, UI design and challenge. Now, those UI challenges, keep designing. From Monday, you get a new one. Keep designing, but you won't be posting it online yet. Right? We have a reason for that. If you notice, we've been providing instant feedbacks. Okay? Now, all these instant feedbacks, for the next 7 days, you get all these instant feedbacks, and you use all the experience and all the answers you've gotten to keep designing subsequently, and you then start posting. Okay? So, by the time you start posting, you are going to start with posting from day 1. So, the next day, you post the one you did in day 2. That way, you don't run out of content to post after telling your enemies to watch you succeed as a UI UX designers, right? Because one of the problems most people have is they just start UI UX design. Before you know, they go to their Twitter, change their bio. Maybe if their name is Michael, they change their name to Michael UX. Go to Twitter, Michael Designer and Son. Go to Instagram, this and that. Then, first day, they post, yes, we just started UI UX. Day 1 of my daily US challenge. The next day, they design, they post. Day 2 of my daily US challenge. The next 3 days, they post. Day 3. After day 4, They might have something to do and they will not design that day. You will not see day 4. Before you know, day 5 no go appear. Before you know, day 6 no show. Almost. Before you know it, you now see them selling wig. Once they start selling wig, you know that that's the end of the UI UX dream. So at least we want you to have we want you to have some, some things in the bank, in your bank, so that those days that you are not able to design, you can still have something to post. That will ginger you to even create design the next day. Okay, so yes, your UI UX design, keep doing it. For the Figma link submission for that file you've been working on, go and take your assessment, because it's under your assessment. That's where you see the link to submit that Figma file. Please, Genusoft, go to Google Classroom, take your assessment, and after taking your assessment, you see a link that is asking you for the file link. Okay, so you submit it, you paste it there. Okay. Not weak seller, not really in the mud. It's just because weak sellers are actually making good money. It's just that you give up on that dream and that is the end. So you need to really plan well. Samuel King, which Figma file are you submitting? The one you've been working on now. That Figma file that contains all those things you've been working on. Spendy app, effects, style guide, all those things, typography. Yes, you are submitting it. Bimbola, you don't do them before, ba. So don't worry, everything we are doing is planned and optimized to make sure you get the best. Okay. So yeah, I think the last people that will enjoy some of this training for free will be the next stream. Stream 3 might get to pay the full price, but hopefully we still maintain our sponsorship from TerraSkills. Genusoft prototype was not on a different file, it was on a different page. Boeing, yes, today's assessment is very technical. Yes, we are actually trying to test your attention to details, yes. So yes, today's assessment is testing something. And please, when you get your results, well, today's assessment is just for you to develop yourself. It's just for you to develop yourself. Attention to details. That's just what we are testing for today. Okay? This assessment is testing your attention to details, because as a UI UX designer, your most important skill you are going to have is attention to details. Okay? And please, for the process, I told you guys, when it comes to, yeah, thank you, Starboy Caleb. Hopefully you maintain your Starboy after you've submitted your assessment today. We'll see to that. Or someone overtakes you and we'll switch. Okay. Okay. So I can't see any other question. So I think we are done for today. And I hope you learned something today. And please read everything that is posted on the portal. Read it. If you don't read it, it will read you. Okay? Or let me put it well. If you don't read it, it's going to rig your career. So please, make sure you go through those information. The 9th question was made for me. Okay, the 9th question made you mad. Boeing Bode Odunayo. What about we that was unable to? No. It's on the Telegram channel. Go to the Telegram channel, you get it. Boeing Bode. Go to the Telegram channel, you get it. The assessment is still up. The assessment is not finished. You can still take the assessment right now. Okay? Okay, good night everyone. Have a good day. Please, if you've not done your assessment, go and do it. If you have not completed your task for day 2, go and like I said, do a lot of visual exploration. Please, don't just go into Figma and start drawing, you will not do anything. It's not a course, but you are just starting. Design is not magic. The best, don't waste this opportunity of learning from others. Once you get that, you read through all the instruction for the challenge, you take whatever you are asked, go to Behance, go to Dribble, even go to Google, type it, see what other people have done, pick one or two things you like from all those things, and then use it to create your own. Make sure you have like a visual reference. That way you begin to master these design tools. Okay, later on you can start being designing off heart. Okay, even the biggest designers still look at other people's design. If you don't look at other people's design, how will you know what's what is trending, or how will you even develop your own style? When do we get our results, sir? Our results should be ready I think by tomorrow, because I think the deadline for submission is 11:59 p.m. So results should be ready by tomorrow. So by tomorrow we'll see if Starboy is still on the top list, abi person don overtake am. Any other question? No other question. Okay, thank you very much, guys. Have a good evening. Please, another important thing, that Excel sheet, everybody go follow every other person on that sheet, like their Medium post, clap multiple times if you can, then follow them. Okay, we are trying to build our social media presence. Yes, steal like an artist, and even at this point, if you can't steal like an artist, steal like a thief for now, just to master your skill. Okay, thank you very much. Good good night, everyone. Bye bye.